T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff.
Live from somewhere deep in the Freedom State of Florida, it's the Let's Be Frank Show with your host, Frank.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to a Sunday edition of the Freedom Stream. I'm glad that you guys are here. We are here tonight, here on live on YouTube, and of course, live over on Rumble. So thank you to all the ones who are watching over Rumble. I appreciate you guys, and thank you for joining me for a 10 p.m. Eastern Time Freedom Stream on a Sunday night. Big news, we are going to be doing Freedom Streams the rest of the week, 10 p.m. time slot, Monday through next week. That's right. Every single day we will have a Freedom Stream this week coming up, and maybe moving beyond that. So we're going to see a whole lot of stuff happening here very, very soon. Hello. I'm glad that you guys are joining me tonight. Hello, Kevin, a movie dog, who is formerly known as Movie Dog. Hey, Amazing Trace. Thank you guys for being here tonight. This is something President Trump tweeted out or truthed out today. This guy is on a warpath at the moment right now. He is absolutely on target with all of these criminal who are involved with Spygate. And don't be fooled. Spygate and the Epstein stuff, it's the same stuff. The two sides of the same coin. It's all connected. People need to go to prison. People need to go to jail. And he's been teasing this now for the last couple of days. And so we're excited to see what's going to happen this upcoming week. Does Pam Bondi actually going to have the cojones to actually do something about this? Is she actually going to use the power of the DOJ to go after these criminals who are in our government? Those who attempted a coup against a sitting president of the United States. Those who attempted to subvert the will of the American people. All those people who came out in 2016 and voted for Donald Trump did not want the war-mongering Hillary Clinton, who is ready to go to war with Russia, ready to go to war with Iran, ready to go to war with China, in order to continue to fund her buddies in the military-industrial complex. That's right. So we had a lot of stuff happening out there this weekend already with Trump, Pam Bondi. I know Pam Bondi, I saw somebody say, don't give her a wrench because it's going to get cobwebs, because it might actually get some cobwebs. And that would be hilarious. Not really. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is Donald Trump. He put this out over on his Truth Social account today, I believe. And he is upset just as much as everybody else what is going on right now. He states this: how did Samantha Power make all of that money? And he posted this meme that went along with it, showing Samantha Power, Susan Rice, Valerie Jarrett, James Comey, James Clapper, John Brennan, Barack Hussein Obama. I love how he included the Hussein Obama in there, and Ben Hummus Rhodes, the shady bunch. As it is here in the meme. He put this out today over on his Truth Social. So, I mean, this is the stuff that people are getting excited about. And of course, not to doom pill, right? We know there's going to be a process that has to go for this. And there might not be anybody that gets arrested, right? There may not be anybody. We have to prepare for that as well. However, it would be epic if we actually saw these criminals pay. It would be epic if we saw these criminals in handcuffs, if we saw the FBI raiding these houses at 4 a.m. in the morning, with their tactical SWAT units coming in, the CNN behind them or Fox News behind them with the cameras and catching the Obamas in their bed sleeping, catching James Clapper, James Comey asleep and coming in and making them go out in their own underwear into the cop cars, just like they did Roger Stone. If you guys remember, Roger Stone being raided at 4 a.m. in the morning by the then FBI, led by, of course, the Biden administration, as they went in there, got him in his underwear and marched him out in front of the entire world to see them come in there. And of course, this is what's taking place right now. And Trump has been on a warpath this weekend, tweeting out more than he has about people actually being held accountable for the stuff that they've been doing, held accountable for these things. And so President Trump coming out early already with this stuff. So, I mean, there has to be something to it. He wouldn't just be tweeting this stuff out over on the thing. And there needs to be reckoning with the Epstein files. Again, I tell you, this is the same coin, just two different sides. We have the Epstein stuff, all the perverts, all the child fondlers, all of the diddlers over on this side, right? And they're interconnected with this side over here of all these corrupt politicians who all had connections with Epstein, had connections with the island, had connections with the plane rides, had videos, possibly even videos of themselves on this, because there's foreign governments out there who want to have leverage over American politics, over the might of the American military. By using these blackmail tapes, they can get certain things accomplished by using the military of the United States, because the United States has the best military in the world. And so if they're able to wield the power of blackmail over politicians who make these types of decisions and to help them bomb their enemies, then why would you not use these? And so there we have this two sides of the same coin. You got the Epstein stuff over here, and you have the Spygate stuff over here, and we have these two people, these two groups of criminals who are doing this. And Trump put this out today. Trump put this out also today. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let me take this out. Well, Roger Stone put this one out just a bit ago. Knock, knock, Barry. Knock, knock. Who's there? Who's there? Oh, that's Tulsi Gabbard, the FBI, and of course, Donald J. Trump looking through the other side. This stuff is heating up, at least on Team Trump. Team Trump's really starting to roll this stuff out. You had Tulsi Gabbard at the end of this week rolling out, talking about all the files that are being released. Democrats are crying foul. They're crying foul, saying, "No, you can't be releasing these documents. Don't stop releasing these documents because they're damaging to the Democrat Party. They're damaging to the swamp of politicians who worked actively in order to take down President Donald J. Trump during his first administration, who helped coordinate the efforts to try to arrest Donald J. Trump during the time he was not president. And of course, set up the whole Russia collusion hoax that they used in order to try to smear President Donald Trump during his first administration. These same people who colluded with the mainstream media, who colluded with the intel agencies, who colluded with other politicians on both sides. Remember John McCain and Lindsey Danzy Graham and Amy Klobuchar going to Ukraine and then talking about, while they were there, how Russia interfered in our elections. They were towing the line as well. This is why I don't like Lindsey Graham, because he is swamp. He's 100% swamp. He is the butt buddy of John McCain, the former John McCain, because that dude's no longer around. That dude's long gone. That dude, the place that he is probably a little hot, if you know what I mean. John McCain is getting his punctuals given to him right now. And what we have here, of course, is the show that we are seeing, right? We see this stuff being rolled out, talking about, possible arrest and possible raids and possible investigations, grand jury indictments, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a lot of stuff that is right underneath the surface. And this truly, besides the Epstein stuff, this is probably where they should have started day one, to start uncovering the mountains of evidence that the Democrats were doing. They were crafting behind the scenes back in 2016, back as President Trump had won the Oval Office during the transition of Obama's administration to Trump's administration, then moving pieces around in order to try to sabotage the incoming Trump administration, making sure they had deep state puppets within the White House, capturing the chief of staff, capturing, of course, then Michael Flynn, capturing Mike Pence, using all these assets to their advantage in order to go ahead and completely go after President Donald J. Trump during that 4-year period. Their goal was to possibly take him out within that first couple months of his administration, and somehow he was able to make it through the entirety of his presidency. And then we know what they tried to do just 1 year ago, where they tried to take him out with a bullet. The intel agencies again trying to blame Iran for that. It wasn't Iran. Don't fall for that propaganda stuff that's being pushed by other countries and warmongers here in the United States who were trying to push us toward a war with Iran. Iran was not trying to take out President Trump with that shooter that showed up in Butler, Pennsylvania. That was all that had fingerprints of the intel agency all over, colluding with the Secret Service, the FBI, and of course the CIA in order to take out President Trump. They were trying to do their best to do whatever they could in order to take him out, and they failed. Now we have this, right? Now we have this stuff coming out. And this is the stuff that we want coming out. President Trump also, this is DNI, of course. Let's go ahead and take a listen from Tulsi Gabbard here. Gabbard on Barack Obama. There must be accountability. He committed treason. He is not above the law. Obama forfeited his freedom. Let's take a listen to Miss Gabbard here as she explains out the course of action from the Director of National Intelligence. Let's take a listen. This is also, by the way, why so many senators were opposed to actually confirming her to the position of the DNI, because they knew the information that would be at her fingertips, the information that she could uncover, and of course, shine a light on these corrupt individuals within the government of the United States. Let's take a listen.
People who did not want to accept the will of the American people in electing Donald Trump in 2016, and therefore cooked up this treasonous conspiracy to, again, try to effectively, and they did effectively, launch a years-long coup against the sitting president of the United States.
Director Gabbard, I'm glad you used the word coup. I also, in some of your reports, the word treason has come up. We're seeing a lot of things coming to light these days, and it's very encouraging for Americans, especially this report, which so many of us knew this was a hoax. But this goes all the way to the top. I mean, this goes all the way to Barack Obama. Will we actually see someone as high up as Barack Obama take responsibility, be accountable, maybe face criminal charges? Is that a possibility here based on the documents that you've released?
Yeah, Rachel, the seriousness of, again, the implications and the consequences of these actions that were taken demand accountability. The American people not only deserve the truth and accountability, when we look at the future of our country as a democratic republic and the American people's ability to have faith that when they go and cast a vote at the ballot box, that the will of the people will be respected by those in government, whether they be Democrats or Republicans, this is literally what is at stake here. So we are referring all of our documents to the Department of Justice for the purpose of accountability and action. No one, no matter who they are, no matter how high up they are or how powerful they may be, no matter who the intelligence officials or professionals were who were a part of this treasonous conspiracy, there must be accountability. The truth must be shown to the American people in order to ensure that there is this faith and trust and integrity in our democratic republic for the sake of the future of our country.
Yeah, let's hope that she didn't send all the stuff to Bondi's desk. Let's hopefully it doesn't get lost there. Pam Bondi's desk is like the Bermuda Triangle at this point. Things just get lost when they show up on the desk. So hopefully now that Tulsi Gabbard's coming out saying, hey, I got this. I'm delivering to the DOJ so DOJ can move on this information so we can make indictments and arrest these individuals. Don't forget, Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat back in 2016, Democrat back in 2015, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, Democrat. One of the only Democrats that President Trump put in his cabinet. And she is out there unveiling the truth. She's always been anti-war and anti-corruption. And this is the reason why they colluded against her during the Democrat National Convention back in 2020. This is why they tried to stop her from becoming the DNI. This is the exact reason why they didn't want her into upper echelons of power within this administration, because she's basically what Mike Flynn was going to do during Trump's first term. Michael Flynn was going to be overturning these stones, and before he could do it, the FBI sent in by Obama and sits there and sets the guy up, gets him arrested, basically, and he has to sit there and defend himself for the next 4 years against the corrupt DOJ led by Bill Barr, because Jeff Sessions was so incapable of actually being able to do anything. He recused himself from any type of investigations, which can continue to trip up the Trump administration for the entire 4 years. And then we got Bill Barr, who was just about as worthless of not having an AG at all. And so this is what we had going on this entire time. And this is what Mike Flynn was supposed to be doing during the first part of the administration, flipping over the rocks and watching the cockroaches scatter. Instead, what we had was the rats in the White House continuing to work against President Trump at every single turn. This is how we had the Alexander Vindmans, who were working in collusion with Adam Schiff. And remember, we weren't allowed to talk about the whistleblower for the Ukraine perfect phone call. Remember that? You weren't allowed to talk about him. You weren't allowed to say his name, or you would have been kicked off of YouTube. This is before the days of Rumble. This is before the days of Rumble and other free speech platforms. This was basically all we had was YouTube and BitChute. Those are the two places we had during that time. And if you spoke the name of Eric Charmelin or whatever the heck his name was, you were kicked off of YouTube. But that's the thing, right? He wasn't the actual whistleblower. Eric Charmelin wasn't the whistleblower. He was the handler for the whistleblower, who was Alexander Vindman. All of these guys are connected. All of the swamp is connected. You turn one rock over and you see a cockroach scatter, just like when you go into one of those rundown Democrat-ran housing projects, you turn a light on and all the cockroaches scatter. Because that is how it is to live in a swamp ran by Democrats. That's what we had going on here. And this right here is something that they did not want to happen. They didn't want Tulsi Gabbard sniffing around. They didn't want her pulling the Scooby-Doo, going inside the agencies and start flipping things over and pulling masks off of these criminals and saying, whoa, yeah, you're one of the bad ones, obviously, right? And that's what we saw happen with this. And it's coming full steam. Again, I think we are going to see more information about the Epstein stuff this week come out. We're going to continue to see more of this information about the Spygate with Obama, Clinton, and all of these other individuals who were all working hand in hand in order to try to sabotage President Trump, but not only sabotage President Trump, right? It was more than just that. They were disgusted that the American people refused to vote Hillary Clinton. They were so disgusted. They shrieked at the notion that Hillary Clinton was not palatable to the American public. The American public outright rejected Hillary Clinton. They're like, yeah, nah, we don't want that lady. That lady's terrible. It's the same thing like America rejected Kamala Harris. We don't want these women running in power. People like Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton, all of these individuals who are currently vying to see the destruction of the United States, see the destruction of the country, while at the same time enriching family, themselves, and their friends, and continuing to erode the national position, the world position that the United States holds as far as keeping world peace, keeping bad actors at bay, and ensuring the safety and sovereignty of this great nation of ours, as we have a closed border for the very first time in decades. We have a closed border where we don't have an influx of illegal immigration flooding into the streets. We're actively working as a government now by removing illegals out of the country. Again, all of this stuff would be terrible coming in with a Kamala Harris presidency. So we had Tulsi Gabbard here. Then we had, let's see here. Yeah, so this is the video I was talking about. This is Lindsey Graham. This is helped resurface by Mays. He says, after the 2016 election, John McCain, Lindsey Graham, and Amy Klobuchar traveled to Ukraine together. After the trip, they held a press conference and declared that Russia had attacked the U.S. by hacking the 2016 election. Let's take a listen to this fossil John McCain.
We're going to go back and tell our colleagues what Russia's up to in the Baltics, what they're doing in the Ukraine. We're going to get briefed about Georgia. We hope to make 2017 a year of offense. We believe that Putin has hacked into our elections in America, that he's trying to undermine democracy all over the world, and it's time for new sanctions to hit him hard as an individual, his energy sector, his banking sector. It is time to push back against Putin, but be a better friend to our allies over here, including Georgia.
This is a very important trip. We just left Ukraine, where we've seen firsthand what happens when Russia crosses over into a country's independence, and we saw it in our own election with the attempt to influence our election.
We will be working for much tougher sanctions against Russia. They attacked the United States of America. The hacking was an attack, and we should be treated as such. And we think their financial institutions and other aspects of the Russian economy should be addressed. And we will strongly urge our colleagues to enact more meaningful and stronger sanctions against Russia because of their attack on the United States of America.
And don't forget, John McCain, he was one of the original Republicans who shared the dossier, the Steele dossier, gave it credit, gave it weight, and passing it along to the intel agencies. John McCain actively worked with the Democrat Party in order to undermine President Trump. Remember that vote that we had in the Senate to repeal Obamacare, to get rid of Obamacare? We had the opportunity, and it came to the last vote, and it was John McCain who waited to the very last moment so he could stick it one last time before he died to President Trump with the thumb down that he did. These people sat there and they were liars. They were liars. John McCain, Amy Klobuchar, and of course Lindsey Graham, as they sat there to try to undermine the presidency. They were already actively working. They were actively working behind the scenes prior to Hillary Clinton losing. And this is something we've covered for years ago. Years ago when we were covering the whole Russia hoax here on the channel. This is years ago, right? 2017. It seems like a millennia ago. When we were covering that whole fiasco, the whole Russian collusion thing, of all these actors who were acting on behalf, you had information spilling out at that time of Republicans in the House of Representatives who were already prepared to be in the minority. They had no plan on what they were going to do with a majority in the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They were already ready to go ahead and concede to Hillary Clinton. They were already making plans. How are we going to work with Hillary Clinton's new administration? And people like John McCain, man, he was eager. He was eager because he knew him and his warmongering buddy Lindsey Graham was actually going to be able to go get to see some death. They're going to actually get to see some engagement, some war, and innocent civilians dying, and of course soldiers being put into the meat grinder. Oh man, they get off on that kind of stuff. That's the stuff they love, man. They love that kind of garbage. These sick puppies, people like Lindsey Graham and John McCain, those people were absolutely just completely warmongers who don't deserve to be anywhere near the levers of power. These people would not blink twice to send your sons and daughters to the meat grinder in the Middle East, to meat grinder to fight Russia or China or wherever they would want to create war and chaos, because they thrive in those elements. They thrive in the elements of war and chaos. And these people like Lindsey Graham, John McCain, Amy Klobuchar, is just another item that we see that goes into this whole thing with the Russian collusion case, how it was cooked up by Barack Obama, James Clapper, John Brennan, Susan Rice, Valerie Jarrett. Of course, Joe Biden was part of it. They all came up with this right before the election in 2016. The government came out, led by Barack Hussein Obama, and said there was no way any government could hack into our election systems. That's what they said. They can't do it. They can't hack our elections, they said. No country, there's no significant evidence that Russia hacked into our elections. They said these things. These are the things they've put out there. They're easily found on the net. They had interviews with the mainstream media, and they all talked about it because they were preparing for a Hillary Clinton victory. And even after she won, there were still reports from our own government saying that there was no hacking of the election in 2016. And prior to that intelligence meeting that Obama had in December inside the White House with the intel community, he had sent a forwarded email to them stating, we need a new way we gather, assess the threat of hacking elections from Russia. Basically stating that you guys need to come up with a new narrative so we can push this narrative as we're leaving the White House, so we can leave a ticking bomb for the next administration. That's basically what they were already working on. That's what they were putting together the perfect storm in order for when President Trump took the oath of office January 21 of 2017, that he was going to immediately face backlash from within his own administration. Don't forget, he had to fight against his own DOJ, Sally Yates, who was a leftover Obama appointee, because the Senate dragged their feet in getting Jeff Sessions appointed as AG. So he was fighting against Obama leftovers within the White House, within these departments of secretaries of like the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, the DNI, etc., etc., etc. And they were fighting against this from day one. From day one, this is what they were up against. And for Trump to make it all the way through through his first 4 years is a medal worthy, because that guy was getting it in every which way direction. And things aren't going to get any easier for the former Obama White House, or Hillary Clinton, because here's the original story, what we have here. Now we can go ahead and bring this up. Let me go ahead and bring me down a little bit so we can include this part here. Texts and emails indicate Hillary Clinton's campaign directly coordinated with Obama White House to launch the Trump-Russia hoax. Once again, this is a lot of information that we were already talking about back in 2017, 2018, 2019. We're talking about all this at that time, but yet we still had people within the administration who were not friendly to Trump. What they did was they slow rolled everything. Everything was being slow rolled. Everything was being suppressed. Therefore, there could be no accountability that could be held. So there was a lot of this kind of stuff taking place. Hillary Clinton and Obama obviously were colluding. Obama had the intel meeting back in December of 2016. They crafted the narrative of Trump-Russia collusion. The PP tape was cooked up by the Steele dossier, which was hired by the Hillary Clinton campaign, which was then filtered out to people like John McCain within the Senate and other friendly Republicans within the House of Representatives. And then after they filtered it out of there, they gave it to the FBI because they had now credible information, because the Senate security individuals, the intelligence oversight committee, and of course the House Oversight Committee, the Intelligence Oversight Committee, all had got together and said, yeah, this is credible. They sent it to the FBI. Now the FBI has it. James Comey has it. What does James Comey do with it? Well, James Comey sits there and he leaks it out to BuzzFeed. Remember this. BuzzFeed. So BuzzFeed now gets the story. The story now gets handed off to BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed now runs the story. CNN picks it up. MSNBC picks it up. USA Today picks it up. The New York Times, Washington Post, every single media outlet out there picks this up. So now it's being reported out there in the press. Now everyone knows about it. So now what happens? Now the House and the Senate says, oh, we need to launch investigations into this. We need a special counsel appointed to look into the Steele dossier, right? We need to know if President Trump is colluding with Russia. We need to know if Putin owns President Trump. We need to know if the PP tape is real. So we're going to go ahead, based on this information reporting by the news media, because the media doesn't lie, right? The media isn't fed information, isn't fed stories by the intel community within the government. Of course, they're going to be honest and truthful with the American people. Of course, what they're reporting is fact and investigations, and they really worked hard digging up the story. It wasn't just handed to them. It didn't fall into their laps with a little golden parachute saying, hey, talk about this. You're going to see your ratings skyrocket. Everyone who's going to be reporting on the PP tape, oh yeah, your ratings are good. They did. The ratings skyrocketed for CNN, MSNBC, all the networks, right? Every wall to wall. All you heard was the walls are closing in on Trump now. The walls are closing in on Trump now. Then what did Jeff Sessions do? He recuses himself. After getting confirmed, the dude recuses himself. Why did he recuse himself? Because during the Senate hearings, if you guys remember correctly, he was grilled by senators saying, if you were asked to investigate President Trump, would you step aside and appoint a special counsel in order to get confirmed to the position of AG? He had to agree with it. He says, yeah, of course. If there's anything with President Trump that seems like there needs to be an investigation, I myself will step aside and appoint a special counsel. And bam, that's what we have. Bam, that's what we get. We got Robert Mueller with David Wiseman, the hatchet man for the Clinton administration, heading up the investigation to a bunch of Democrats, a bunch of angry Democrats, appointed to lead an investigation into their buddy's rival. All of that. We just now went down the timeline from 2016. I didn't think I would have to be doing this again. I didn't think I would be talking about the Russian collusion again. I'm glad that I am. I'm glad we covered it years ago. Yeah, it's been so many years. I was much younger, less gray hair than I had at the time. I was a little skinnier. A little less gray. But yeah, so we have the story now. We have confirmation from the DNI. We have confirmation from Tulsi Gabbard, from the Trump administration. Yes, there was a collusion between Democrats, the intel community, and the mainstream media that showed collusion in order to take down a sitting president. That's what we saw. This is what's being rolled out. And so we see this. We see it and we look at it. We take a look and see what's going on with it. And it says this. The Hillary Clinton campaign was directly coordinated with the Obama White House to launch the Trump-Russia hoax in 2016. Yes, we know this. Hillary Clinton unleashed hell on this country when she hatched the Trump-Russia collusion plot in 2016 to distract from her email scandal. Remember that? The email scandal, which is directly connected to whom? Seth Rich, whom the Democrats took out. Seth Rich, remember him? Yeah, his laptop was stolen. Huh, why was his laptop stolen? Oh, because he had all of the email stuff that the DNC was trying to hide from the American public. Seth Rich had threatened to go to the public with this evidence, and they took him out. A staged robbery on the streets of D.C. where nothing was taken from Seth Rich. It's time to release those files. Time to release the files of Seth Rich. This is how you know where you've been around for a while. If you know the lore behind Seth Rich, you know you've been following this for quite some time. If you know the lore behind Seth Rich, you know you've been following the deep state swamp since 2016. You guys know this. You guys should know this. If you don't know, you're just new to the scene. You're like, who the heck is Seth Rich? This streamer over here is dropping Seth Rich. Who's that guy, right? But yes, it's all coordinated. It's all together. It's all together. The Epstein, the Seth Rich, and the Russia collusion, the PP tape, the Steele dossier, all connected. All of this is connected. I feel like one of those crazy conspiracy guys with the pins and the yarn connected behind me on some map. It's all connected. All connected. Let's continue with the article. It says, of course, Hillary used a bogus dossier and conspired with foreigners and the FBI to spy on Trump's 2016 campaign and presidency. In July 2016, then FBI special agent Peter Strzok opened a counter-intel investigation to Trump's campaign dubbed Crossfire Hurricane on suspicious, based on no evidence, that the Russians had infiltrated Trump's circle. Remember Papadopoulos? Remember that dude? The honeypot deal? Remember all that stuff? George Papadopoulos? You guys remember that? The electronic communication, the EC, that launched Crossfire Hurricane was written by Peter Strzok and obtained by Judicial Watch as a result of the FOIA lawsuit. The EC revealed Peter Strzok opened Crossfire Hurricane based on third-hand information that the Russian government had been seeking prominent members of the Donald Trump campaign to which engage to prepare for the potential post-election relations should Trump be elected U.S. president. According to the investigative reporter Paul Sperry, there are texts and emails showing Hillary Clinton's campaign aides were coordinating with the Obama White House to launch the Trump-Russia hoax in 2016. I'm told there are text emails indicating Hillary Clinton campaign aides directly coordinating with the Obama White House, the NSC, the State Department, intelligence community officials in an effort to dig up dirt tying Donald Trump to Vladimir Putin in July 2016. Developing Sperry said, you know what this reminds me of, right? This is what reminds me of something here. It reminds me of the efforts of the Biden White House coordinating with, the prosecutors around the country who were indicting President Trump during the time President Trump was not in office. There were plenty of meetings with Fani Willis of Georgia, plenty of meetings with the AG from New York City and others as they coordinated an effort to put down President Trump as they were trying to lock him up and jail him, bankrupt him, right? There's a pattern that we are seeing here with Democrats. When they can't beat their opponent at the ballot box, they will do whatever they can to lock them up or throw them out of office. It matters not to them at all. It matters not. It matters not. Sperry's revelation comes on as ODNI Tulsi Gabbard is set to release more Trump-Russia documents. On Friday, Gabbard declassified a December 2016 presidential briefing revealing Barack Obama knew the Trump-Russia collusion narrative was a hoax. The declassified documents proved Barack Obama worked with his national security team and the deep state hacks such as Susan Rice, John Brennan, James Comey, Clapper, and others to manufacture intelligence and push the lies through the fake news media. Gabbard told Maria Bartimello that more Russia hoax documents will be released this week. Maria said the sources told her the new document release will be related to the Mar-a-Lago raid. Stay tuned. So, of course, Hillary Clinton should be arrested. Hillary Clinton should be dragged in front of a jury. And after a fair and speedy trial, she should be found guilty on treason and given the penalty which follows being found guilty for treason. That's what should happen to Hillary Clinton and every other single individual who committed treason against the United States by setting up a president and trying to circumvent the will of the American people in this country. By doing those things, should all have to pay the penalty for treason against the U.S. That's what should happen. That's what we have. That's what's going on. We now have Hillary Clinton looking over her shoulder. We have Barack Hussein Obama, who just made an appearance on his wife's podcast. What a weird thing that was. Did you guys watch that, by the way? They, if you guys didn't know, Michelle Obama has a podcast now with her gay brother, who they interview people, right? They bring people on to their little studio and they interview them. Well, anyway, Michelle Obama has had the podcast, and she invited her husband, Barack Hussein Obama, to come on her show. And during that show, it was quite interesting, by the way, if you got to see it, Barack Obama talked about how every boy, this is what he said, every boy needs more than just a father figure, he said. They need a gay man in their life. What? Who says that? Who says you need more than just a father figure? You need someone else that's not your dad to help you along. Not just any guy, right? Not just any person. He didn't say like a coach or a teacher or something that's, classical, generic that you would say. No, what did he say? He said every boy needs a gay man in his life. Dude. Anyway, she brought him on to talk about their apparent divorce that they were having, and they weren't getting divorced apparently. Save you guys, spare you the details, spare you the boring of the Barack Hussein Obama podcast with Michelle Obama. Said they're not getting divorced, yeah, because if they get divorced, then they can't sit there, then they could try to testify against one another. So they got to stay married, right? They got to stay married because if they don't, then they lose that privilege of a spouse not being able to, of course, testify against their spouse because they need to protect each other because there are bodies that are connected to the Obamas as well. We know. What happened to the chef? What happened to the chef that cooked for the Obamas? Dude, he probably found out the secret and they offed him in the ocean. Remember that story? Remember the Obama chef? That dude's gone. What happened to Joan River? Joan River speaking truth before the election of Barack Hussein Obama and Michelle Obama spoke the truth. Bam! She was gone too. Their bodies connected. There's a body trail of the Obamas just as much as the Hillary Clinton body count just as well. Adam Schiff is also... Well, let's go ahead and finish doing this. Let's finish doing the Gabbard stuff here. Let's finish doing the Gabbard stuff. Because there's one more thing here for Tulsi Gabbard. I want to go ahead and wrap this one up here real quick, and then we can talk about the Adam Schiff. Let's see. Gotta remember where I put that story at. Anyway, so this is Tulsi Gabbard over here. Says, talking about whistleblowers. Says they're coming out of the woodwork. DNI Tulsi Gabbard says disgusted whistleblowers who helped craft Obama and Brennan's phony Russia report are turning over affidavits to the DOJ right now. of course, hopefully he's not on the Bermuda Triangle of a desk of Pam Bondi. Hopefully it's not there. Anyhow, let's see here. Yeah, here's the same interview. Let's go ahead and play this.
Big retailers don't want
Commercial.
you to have this zoom lens, but there's nothing they can do to stop it. So there's this new super powerful.
How to instantly find and
commercials.
back
My
up
bad. I
every
should've
photo and
already
video.
cleared this out.
No tech skills
go.
required.
Do you believe that we will see prosecutions? I mean, our audience wants to know where this story goes from here. Will we ever see anyone held accountable for this incredible lie on the American people?
I will do all that I can, and we have whistleblowers, actually, Maria, coming forward now after we release these documents, because there are people who were around, who were working within the intelligence community at this time, who were so disgusted by what happened. We're starting to see some of them come out of the woodwork here, because they too, like you and I and the American people, want to see justice delivered. So we're going to provide everything that we have, everything that we will continue to gather to the Department of Justice for that direct intent and that direct purpose. There must be indictments, those responsible, no matter how powerful they are and were at that time, no matter who was involved in creating this treasonous conspiracy against the American people, they all must be held accountable.
So do you expect, just to be clear, do you expect indictments and prosecutions?
I'm not a lawyer. In my view, we have the evidence to be able to move forward and bring about justice, yes, to prosecute and indict those responsible.
Yeah, again, it's in Pam Bondi's court now. It's in, the ball's in her court. It's on her desk. Oh my goodness, I wish it wasn't on her desk. I wish it was not on her desk, but it's on her desk. It's on her desk, just like everything else has been put on her desk. However, Tulsi Gabbard does not seem like the type to lead people astray as far as her assessment of what she is seeing. What she is seeing and now handed over to the Department of Justice is enough, in Tulsi Gabbard's view, of receiving indictments and prosecution. And so these criminals who actively worked against the president, actively worked against the American people, because the American people voted for President Trump in 2016, not for Hillary Clinton. There needs to be a reckoning. There needs to be accountability, just as Tulsi Gabbard said. Thank you, Katie Zed, for joining me tonight. I love Katie. Katie's one of my favorites. Hey, Katie. Thanks for showing me. Thanks for giving me a shout out today, by the way, over on your little crime channel. Love you over there. And so what we have here is these criminals who have escaped justice for over a decade, at least involved in this case, right? There are so many political... Remember when it was in vogue to lock up criminals? In vogue to lock up politicians? Remember the mayor of D.C.? They locked that dude up. The dude that was doing cocaine. He was doing cocaine and doing hookers. And they locked that guy up. Thank you, Katie. Thank you. You're awesome. You're awesome. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate the $2 super chat. She says, let's get those super chats going. Thank you, Katie. Appreciate the $2 super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will give our Freedom Spruce a treat. Come here, Spruce. Spruce, come here. Here comes Freedom Spruce. Treat. Come on. Come over here. Come on. Come here. Come on. Spruce, come on. Here he is. Good boy. Good boy. Freedom Spruce thanks you for the $2 super chat, by the way. So, we have all these criminals running around. Justice needs to happen. Justice needs to come. And I am ready. I'm so ready to see justice be dealt out to these individuals who have worked against the American people for the last decade, if not more. If not more, which we know it's more. We know it's more. And so that right there is huge. So I was talking to you guys about Adam Schiff just a second ago because this broke just before we were going to come on air, but I had already made our lead in with Hillary Clinton. Here is this. Check this out over here on X. It's being broke by Eric Daughtry over here over on Twitter. This was about an hour ago, so right before we were going live on air. President Trump says it's time for Adam Schiff to pay the price for a real crime. Adam Schiff is in big trouble. He falsified loan documents. He once said my son would go to prison on a scam that Schiff, along with other crooked Democrats, illegally manufactured in order to stage an actual coup. My son did nothing wrong, knew nothing about the fictional story. It was an American tragedy. Now Shifty should pay the price of prison for a real crime, not one made up by the corrupt accusers. Adam Schiff, dude, is one of those guys who should be going directly to jail. Going to jail, not collecting $200, and no visitors. That dude needs to be thrown in the gulag of the DC prison. That's where he needs to go. That's where he needs to head to. Because Adam Schiff is one of these individuals who has done great harm to this nation, who has done great harm in order to try to enrich himself, his family, and his friends off the taxpayer dollars. And of course, Democrats will go to the paint for this guy who may or may not be involved in other nefarious activities. Dude was this guy's connected to that diddler in LA. What was his name? Does anybody remember? He had like 2 teenage male escorts found dead in his apartment. Do you guys remember this guy? He was a big San Francisco activist, gay activist, and he gave lots of money to people like Adam Schiff and the that Chinese Asian representatives, Ted Lieu, and what was his name? I can't think of his name. Anyway, he would sit there, and he had close connections with this diddler in San Francisco, who would funnel lots of money, host lots of fundraisers, and used to like to hang out with Adam Schiff, Ted Lieu, and other Democrat politicians in L.A. This guy had they found 2 dead teenage male hookers in his house. Oh, I cannot remember his name though. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember his name. But if you guys know the lore, you guys know. Someone said a hotel that's involved in something. Ed Buck. I think it was Ed Buck. Ed Buck. You're right. Fire on Planet. Ed Buck. This dude's a diddler. Ed Buck's a diddler, man. And there's connections to Adam Shifty and other prominent Democrats within the San Francisco area of California. And he had lots of stuff. Hey, Redneck Patriot, new subscriber. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Great information. Thanks, Frank. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Always enjoy when I am able to get a new subscriber. Thank you. Thank you. Reason to celebrate. Carl Peterson says the Standard Hotel. Yes, Standard Hotel. Thank you. Yeah, there's lots of connections with Adam Schiff and all of that stuff as well. So what we have here now, right? What we have going on is we have the Russia collusion hoax. This thing, the dam is busting wide open right now with this information coming out. We have the AutoPen scandal, which that dam is busting wide open now, right? With Biden and the AutoPen scandal with his aides not him having AIDS, but his aides, the ones who help him, who ran the White House, were using his signature without his permission to give out pardons and reduce sentences to family and friends. And of course, we have the Epstein files, which is also, I think, about to burst wide open as well. So we have these three informational fronts that are all kind of starting to, you see the water spewing out the holes of the dam, and this thing's ready to start kind of breaking open. And I have a feeling if it all does break open like the way I think it might break open, it's going to be so much information. I may be information overload for a lot of individuals. It's going to be hard to kind of focus where we need to talk about, what we need to highlight, because I think it all matters. It's all connected. It's all relevant. And I think the sleeping mass of the country needs to be awakened to the fact that we have criminals running the country, and it's not a joke. It's not a joke. You know, people make jokes about how we have criminals as politicians. It's not a freaking joke. We need to arrest criminals. I don't care if they are politicians. They should be arrested. They should be arrested. It's a huge spider web. Absolutely. Thank you, Pocket Fluff. Yes, it is. It's a huge, huge network. Huge network. Hey, Jeff Houdini. Houdini. Jeff Houdini. And Houdini. Hello, Frank Alligator. Yes. So yeah, there's a lot to pick apart and look at, and really understand what is happening here with these individuals, all these people who are connected in every single way. And you know, I would even say Pizzagate is all involved in all of this. So we have a lot of things that are connected. And so over the next week, as we do these freedom streams, I'm going to do my best to deliver all of the relevant information we need to go ahead and dive into and really put forth, because this information is something I think that we need to be able to disseminate into the social media world as much as we're able to. As much as we're able to talk to our friends and family about this stuff, or maybe our coworkers at work, about these types of things that are taking place in real time. And if you guys like criminal investigations, may I suggest a criminal channel. Katie said, if you guys enjoy covering criminals in government, why would you not like to learn about criminals at the micro level? We focus so much of our attention on these big criminals, which is what we should be doing. However, we need to make sure we're paying attention to the small time criminals that Katie covers over on her channel. We will probably end up having a crossover eventually, probably within the next couple weeks. Who knows? But check out Katie Zed's channel. She is an awesome friend of mine, real life friend, by the way, as well, IRL. She's a real life friend. So check out her channel. She does a lot of crime channel. She does a lot of good stuff. She's very entertaining to watch, and she's gotten really good at this. She's gotten really good at doing this kind of stuff. So check out Katie's channel over there. Katie Zed. You can find her on YouTube. You can find her over on Rumble as well. Great stuff. She has great stuff. So as we kind of wrap up from tonight, as we wrap up this evening, talking about the obviously criminals that we have, these investigations that are starting to break wide open within DC and all those things. It's important to remember that we need to continue to hold the politicians accountable, the ones who are trying to do the good work, right? Even though we applaud them, we want to thank them. Hey, thank you for bringing this to attention. We need to keep the heat on them, because somewhere on the Bermuda Triangle of Pam Bondi's desk are files that need indictments for Hillary Clinton, Barack Hussein Obama, and the rest of the shady bunch. Somewhere in the Bermuda Triangle of a desk of Pam Bondi, people need to go to prison. Pam Bondi, do your job. So anyhow, I appreciate all of you guys tonight. Thank you so much for making a very successful stream this evening. Thank you. I do appreciate all of you guys' support. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you to the new subscribers that we have received for the channel. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And of course, hit that like button, share button. Thank you to the ones who are watching over on Rumble. I appreciate you guys as well. Thank you so much. Watching over on Rumble, supporting the stream over there. I do thank you for that. If you have TikTok, you can follow me over on TikTok as well. I know, TikTok. But you know what? That's where Gen Z is. We need to reach Gen Z as well. And Gen Alpha, we need to reach these people, and that may be on TikTok. I'm also on Instagram as well. You can follow me over on Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, and of course here on YouTube. So check out all of the links down in the description down below. Whichever other social media platform you do like watching, you can watch me over on those platforms as well. So thank you guys so much. I will see you guys tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, for another Freedom Stream. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys have been great. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. God bless. And let's go get them. Take down the deep state. Bye, everyone.